Hello, everyone. How are we today? It's good to be back after Easter break. So welcome, everyone. For those of you who don't remember me or first time joining, my name is Tammy Boos. I'm with the Illinois Cooperative Extension, the SNAP Ed program. I'm a community worker, and I'm happy to be here with you today. We are going to talk about food budgeting made easy, as if that's an easy topic, but we're going to give it a whirl. So a couple things first. I've shared in the chat box my email address. So if you've got any questions or any comments or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. We'll discuss those comments, questions, whatever. If I do not have the answer, I will research it and find the answer for you and get back with you as quickly as I can. A couple other things, and I know these have been shared, and if you don't have access to them, please reach out again and we'll get you access. But I wanted to share with you a Find Food Illinois program through the extension. And what this is this just gives you areas of around you or around your area in which you live. You can search all over the state, and it will give you resources to find food, whether it's a food pantry, whether it's free meals, or those kinds of things. So please, farmers markets, summer meals for your kiddos, those kinds of things. So just be sure and take a few minutes and check that out as well. The Eat, Move, Save is also a big part of our program. So the Eat, Move, Save website is illinois.edu/Eat, Move, Save. And that is a program that it's a really good website. Get in there, you guys, look around. It has recipes, it has helpful tips, it has cooking ideas, it has a lot of different things in there that could really help you. Those days when I get stuck and I'm like, man, I'm looking at this chicken and what am I going to do with it? Well, you can get on this website and you can plug in recipes and you can plug in chicken and it'll give you recipes for chicken. Or if you want a casserole, just plug in the information and it'll give you all kinds of added recipes and helpful hints. So those are some really good tools for you guys to get into and use. So real quick, does anybody have any questions or any comments about last week's lesson? Last week's lesson was kind of the format to move into this week's lesson. So last week the last time we got together, we talked about a budget for the household. So what is your income into the household and what expenditures do you have for that household? So your rent, your utilities, your insurance, your car maintenance, all those kinds of expenses. What are you budgeting for different areas within your budget? What's your income? And make sure you incorporate all of your income. So not only just wages, but if you have benefits from WIC or food stamps, your link card, those kinds of things, child support, any of those kinds of things. Those are all part of your income. So make sure you include all those and get yourself a budget. So let's move on into what today is. First of all, there's plenty of opportunities for you guys to jump in and talk and, share your ideas, your topics, some things that have worked for you or some suggestions that you might have. And we want everybody to, participate. And I'm not going to call on anybody, but just, let it out there. But this is what we call voice by choice. So we want to make sure you're welcome to speak if you so mute yourself or you can offer in the chat box. So today we're going to talk about a budget for the specific food area of our household budget. So what do you have in the area of your household budget that's designated just for food? What kind of budget money do you have there? And how are we going to expend that? And how can we make sure there's enough, or we need to stay within that budget? So those are the things we're going to talk about today. We also want to know about how much we're spending. How often do you go to the store? Is it something that you go once a week, once a month, once every other week? Those kinds of things? Or is it something that you're like, oh no, I forgot this and I run to the store, and then you end up picking up 2 or 3 things more. So then it increases your budget or your spending in that grocery area. So how can we prevent that? So I can think of a couple ways. We can prevent that or help curb that a little bit by not only making our budget and knowing what our budget is, but let's make a meal plan. Let's plan out meals for the week or for every 2 weeks. If you want to plan your meals for 2 weeks because you go to the store every 2 weeks, plan your menus. Get the kiddos involved, get the family involved. Plan your menus and then plan your list accordingly to go to the store. So it's going to save 2 things. First, it's going to save you money. More importantly, it's going to save you time, money and time to get all of your ingredients that you need ahead of time. You're going to forget something? Yeah, probably. But if you have a plan of what you're going to prepare for the entire week or 2 weeks, or you can do it for a month, good for you. Go for it. I'm not that lucky, but we try. So get your meal plan your menus for the week. Let's just go with the week. We're going to plan our menu for the week, and we're going to make a grocery list. And then we're going to look in our cabinets and see what we already have and make a list of what we need. Okay, so we're going to help kind of curb that. So real quick, I want you to think about something here for a second. What kind of, let's just use beverages. What kind of beverages do you buy a lot of? And how often do you buy them? And how much does that cost? So it's easy if we run through a convenience store or went through a grocery store or whatever, and gas station, we're going to grab something to drink real quick. Well, how often do we grab those things, and how expensive are they? And those are all things that we have to figure within our budget. So is that something that we can kind of curve a little bit? Is that something we can curve down just a little bit to help save in our budget? Is that something that's kind of teetering our budget over? Okay. That's one thing. The other thing is we need to be more aware of what we are spending. So if we're at work, let me just throw a couple things out here. Do we have the extra money to spend to eat out every day at work? Or is it something that we just need to do periodically? Maybe treat yourself once a week or once a month to eating out with friends at work. What about eating out in general as a family? It's so easy, I know, to run through a drive-through and grab, a spaghetti dinner or a pizza or some sandwiches and bring home, opposed to, I'm so tired, I didn't lay anything out for dinner, I just don't feel like cooking tonight, those kinds of things. So now we have this issue that we're doing this, and is this pushing our budget that we've allotted over? Or are we still within our boundaries? Okay. And then as we're developing that food budget, remember, we need to include, your paychecks, your child support, your WIC vouchers, your food stamps, and all that. That's all part of your income to be established in your budget. So if you're getting WIC vouchers and food stamps, that's automatically in your food category. Okay. So just say you get, $150 in WIC and, $400 in food stamps. Well, that's, $550 just for food. If there's anything else you can add to that from your already existing budget, then that's a feather in the cap, right? Okay. So getting back to how much and how often. Those are the things that really will hurt your budget a lot. How often are you just picking up those little things here and there? You know, zipping out to with some friends and having, you know, a sandwich real quick, you know, for your lunch hour. Grabbing something at the restaurant on the way by, like we talked about just a few minutes ago. And that really doesn't matter whether you say grab a pizza on your way home and then, okay, I've got a salad, I've got dessert at home. You're still taking that pizza money out of your budget, right? Okay. All right, so here's a worksheet. These have been forwarded for you guys ahead of time. So here's the first worksheet that we're going to work on. It's your monthly food budget. And this is kind of an idea of how much it would cost to feed an individual within your household in a month's time. So you can see on the left-hand side, it lists people. So a man, a woman, a child in age brackets, then a teenage girl, a teenage boy, and an infant. So what I want you to do is, and you can do this on this worksheet or you can do it off on a side of piece of paper, but I want you to circle those individuals or write them down, those individuals of which you have in your household. So it's you and the hubby, and maybe you've got a 4-year-old and you've got a 10-year-old. And then you've got a teenage boy. So you're going to take those figures. So you have 155, 140. That's $295. And then another 90 is 385. And 130 is 520. And then a teenage boy is another 145. So you're going to add all of those together. And that's going to be about approximately how much it's going to cost for you to feed your family. And this is just a ballpark idea. Maybe it's a little high, maybe it's a little low. Kind of gives you an idea. Kind of gives you something to kind of work with. Is this something that we can do? So then you're going to take and total all those numbers up and total it all the way down. And then you are going to have your total budget allotment of what approximately what it costs to feed those individuals in your household for the month. Okay. With that being said, in those costs of things, we also indicated that if you have, in last lesson, we indicated that if you're doing a summer program or a school lunch and a school supper or a school breakfast, you have those vouchers, those will come off the top of your budget. So you need to, you know, that's money that you're not going to spend because that's already considered part of your budget within the school district. Okay. So if you've got a couple kids in school and they're doing breakfast and lunch, you're going to take, I think it's like $90 a kid. So you got $180 that you're going to take off the top of your meal, your budget, because you've got kids 5 days a week in school, or however, you know, some of the school districts are offering free meals to take home with them. So the kiddos are still getting something to eat, you know, as a sack lunch or whatever. So you have to look all of that through and see for sure how it works for you. Okay. But this is just an educated guess. Just a ballpark, just a baseline to get you started and to help you move forward. So anybody got any questions that far? Anybody got any questions? Okay. Okay, now here's the hard part. So now in developing a plan for your food budget, your spending, now we know how much we have set aside for, so in your food budget worksheet from last week, just say, let's just say for easy figuring, you've got $1,000 that you got set aside for food for the month. You got a family of 5 and you got $1,000 set across. Now you need to kind of look at how many meals you're providing, how many meals that's going to get you. Look at your worksheet from today to see what a ballpark idea is of what you're going to need to feed those 5 individuals. And is this $1,000 going to be enough? Do we need to stretch it? Do we need to shrink it? Is it going to be real close, real tight? And then how can we develop that? Okay, so here we go. How are we going to develop our food budget and make sure it works? Well, I'm going to shop, look through sale flyers to see what's on sale. I'm going to try and buy in bulk. So if I get a big package of hamburger, maybe I'm going to cut it down into thirds, or however it works good for your family, and I'm going to freeze part of it, and I got part of it frozen and part of it I can utilize now. Maybe the same way with chicken, chicken breast or chicken legs or whatever. I can say, okay, I got 5 of them, so a couple of them are going to eat 2 and somebody else is going to eat, so I'm going to say I need 8 a meal. So I put 8 chicken legs in a container, and I know here's 1 meal. Maybe I've got 8 more left, or maybe I don't, or look what's in your bag and divide it down so that it works best for you. But try and utilize that bulk shopping to get exactly what you need and to help you enhance that budget. Because a lot of times, if you buy it in a bigger poundage or a bigger package, the price per unit, or price per ounce or per pound, is cheaper. So it's going to help your budget stretch a little farther. Right? Kind of get what I'm talking about there? Okay. All right. And then be aware of what kinds of foods are you buying. Are you buying name brand? Are you buying, just say you're at the grocery store and they have their own in-house brand? Are you buying that? Are you shopping those flyers? Are you looking what's on sale there? Just a little tip here too. If you go through the store and just say, I'm looking at vegetables, and I know on my meal plan, I decided that I was going to have green beans one day and corn another day, and a mixed vegetable another day. So let's look at what options I have. Sometimes I know there's a couple stores that I know of that will run 10 cans for $10. Well, I don't have 10 cans that I need on my list because I've only got a week's worth, but it would be cheaper and in your best interest if you bought the 10 cans. Now I only need 5 cans for this week, but now I have 5 more cans in my storage for next week, and they're already on sale. So instead of spending, $1.50 or $1.60 a can, I'm spending $1 a can because it's 10 cans for $10. So I'm saving myself some money. So look at those aspects too. If you just need 1, but it's a 2 or 3 for a certain price, and it's cheaper and it's going to be a better bargain, utilize that time to kind of go, I can have a couple of vegetables next week, or a box of pasta. I can have that next week. Sometimes you'll have frozen fruits and vegetables that are that way too. Maybe they're 2 for $5. Okay, well, I'm going to use 1 today because I'm going to make a fruit salad, but I'll throw the other one in the freezer and I can have it next week or the week after. So I'm making that budget stretch. Kind of understand what I'm saying? So make sure that when you look at your shopping list and you look what's on the shelf or what you're looking at actually to purchase, that it doesn't, you kind of think it through. Yeah, I only need 1, but if I spend 2 or 3 more bucks, I've got 2 or 3 more to set in the cabinet and have as backup. Okay. And then, you want to, you kind of want to make sure that you get everything that you can think of. Make sure your list is complete and you've gone through your cabinets at home to make sure you have everything you need to move forward, so that you don't have that obligation to go back to the store to pick up a pound of butter or, some cottage cheese or some salad dressing. And then that, is another trip to the store. And then you think, oh, I'll just grab this, or I'll grab that, or I'll grab this. And then you've increased your budget as well. Okay. All right. So the next step I want you guys to do is I want you to work on that budget, but then I want you also to just take a few minutes and try and do it, let's just say for 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, every evening, I don't care if you have, let's just say you've got a piece of notebook paper or scratch paper or something tacked on the cabinet door or the refrigerator door. And so everybody that comes in that night says, oh, I spent $1.50 in the vending machine at school. Okay, so $1.50 vending machine, school, whoever did it. Okay. And I zipped through the store real quick and I picked up blah, blah, blah. So I spent $10.85. $10.85 miscellaneous, whoever did it. Okay, so, and then, restaurants are the same way. Oh, we were at work today and so dropped in and haven't seen them in a long time. And they kind of wanted to go to lunch. So we zipped out to lunch. Okay, well, I had my lunch and then a group of us split her lunch, we haven't seen her in a while. So now I'm going to add that to the list. And I want you to keep track of that for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I want you to look at what actually extras you spent. And then on another piece of paper, right beside it, I want you to post your receipts that you actually went to the store that you had targeted for your budget. So I know I went grocery shopping for this week's worth of food and I spent $165. So week one, $165 at whichever store, and here's my receipt. Okay. So at the end of 2 weeks, you can look and go, okay, well, this is what I spent towards my budget and this is the extra I spent. So in 2 weeks, I got 2 weeks left. Am I going to make it? Am I going to have enough to meet my budget? Am I going to exceed my budget? And if so, why? This also will help you look at those receipts and or your sheet that you have posted and say, man, I spent, well, we didn't need those cookies and, I didn't need that ice cream and, I spent this and I spent that and I really didn't need to, blah, 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 blah. So it gives you a chance to look at your receipts and what you've actually done shopping and see where you're at to help you change maybe of the ways that you shop to help deter things a little bit or make things a little differently to help you stay within that budget. Okay. Shopping flyers, shopping sales. If you want to buy fresh food, fruits, vegetables, shop within the season. So right now, not a whole lot is in season, but your berries are going to start coming in season. So now I'm going to shop and my strawberries should be a little cheaper because they're in season. Okay. So that should be a little easier to make, strawberry shortcake or a strawberry Jello salad because strawberries aren't quite as expensive now coming into season as they were in the wintertime when nobody's growing them around here and they're all shipped in, which makes them a higher commodity. Kind of understand what I'm saying there? I know. Okay. Okay, and then you always know what you have available, on your food stamp card. or your work vouchers. So that's always an easy check and balance to see exactly what you have left there, to know where you are in your budget, and then just have to remember whatever else you've set aside within your family budget to add to that. Okay. Utilizing of pantries, food banks, places that your open air farmer markets, those kinds of things that offer, your fresh produce, your fresh fruits and vegetables. Wow, that's hard to say. Fresh fruits and vegetables is all something that you just kind of need to work through. Keep in mind, we want a balanced budget, a balanced diet. Balanced budget's a good thing too, but a balanced diet. So as we refer back to, like we've done this entire series, we want to do the My Plate series. So half of our plate should be fruits and vegetables. Then we want to make sure we add in our proteins, our grains, and our dairy. So we really kind of want it to be a balance, and we need to look at what it's recommended for the household to eat, the different age brackets. So we know what we need to eat within reason every day, and how we can make that happen. So, plan your meals accordingly to that. Okay. All right. Has anybody got any questions? Any comments? Anything they want to offer as something that works good for them? And just remember, you guys, this is just an educated guess on this estimate. Sometimes it's going to be higher, sometimes it's going to be lower. Obviously, if you're making a casserole, it's not going to cost you as much to feed. A bowl of soup, it's not going to cost as much. What you make with it and that kind of stuff. But excuse me. But know what you're planning ahead of time. And by all means, get those kiddos involved, get your family involved. You all sit down around the table and plan those menus for the day or for the week. Get everybody's involvement in that. And the same way with meal prep and preparing your meals during the day or the evening, whatever. Go ahead and get those out there. Get everybody involved. Teach the kids, teach the extra people in your family. Y'all work together and make your meals and serve and set the table and talk about it. Spend some good quality family time. It works out really well. Okay, let's move on to our recipe of the lesson. So a crunchy chicken salad. Again, like we talked about, buying chicken in bulk. Here's a prime example. I only need 2 chicken breasts, but some of those bigger packages, come like with $1.69, $1.79, sometimes $1.89 a pound, which is a whole lot better if you buy them in bulk, and maybe there's 6 or 8 in there. So I need 2 for this. Well, that leaves me 6. So I got a family of 5, and if they're usually a pretty good sized breast, now I got another meal. I have another meal working. Oh my goodness. So let's see what this recipe has to offer. So this is based on a 5 serving and a 3/4 of a cup is the serving size. So 2 chicken breasts. And again, you can use leftover chicken. So if you made chicken the night before and you got leftovers, by all means, use your leftover chicken to make your salad. And speaking of leftovers in that aspect, too many times we forget what leftovers are in the fridge. So I worked at a local college, and the head cook there was notorious for using what was left over in the fridge and making something different out of it. So it wasn't just a roast, or it wasn't just fried chicken, or it wasn't just, a casserole. So whatever was left over, you utilized that and added something to it, made a little twist, and now it's something different, which is the same way you could do with this chicken. So you're going to use the skinless chicken breast, two cups, and chop it up. 1 stalk of celery, half of a green pepper chopped, half of a small onion, and a half of a cucumber peeled and chopped, and your onions chopped as well. A small apple diced but not peeled, and a half a cup, of grapes, and we're going to cut those in half, and a quarter of a cup of plain yogurt, and then salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so we're going to take all of these ingredients and we're going to put them in a large bowl and we're going to mix them all together, and then we're going to stick them back in the refrigerator covered and serve them when it's time, but let them chill back up together collectively as a whole, as it's already made. Okay, so that looks like a pretty tasty recipe. And then as far as the other halves of those things that you have left over, those are good utilized for another salad or another dish that you could make. So always remember what you have for leftovers in your fridge. Okay, it looks like that'll be kind of yummy. Let me know how you guys like that one. Okay, all right, so let's talk about food budgeting made easy. As we've talked about this entire series, I really encourage you guys to take these take-home tips and stick them on the fridge or, on your cabinet or wherever, and utilize them to spark an interest in trying something different, trying to make a change, trying to make a move in a different direction to either change things that you're already doing, enhance what you're doing, or on the flip side of that coin, we're just going to turn around and change everything that is not working so well, and now we're going to turn it around and make it work better. So the suggestions and the bullets from the class today was tracking your food expense helps you learn how to spend money on food, and keeping your receipts and making a list of what you spend for 2 weeks. Add up your food purchase to see how much you're actually spending on food, and how much is that extra little, junk kind of stuff, like a can of soda in a candy bar, or a can of soda in a bag of chips, or something like that is easy to do. Don't get me wrong, it's easy to do, and I'm just as guilty too. And then when you know how much money you spend on food, you can decide if you need to make changes. So like I said, this is an educated guess. So work on it for maybe a couple months. And, this is what I need. This is what I have budgeted. Play with your menus a little bit. And then I'm like, I don't know, this isn't going to work. It's either too short or it's too long. Maybe it's just right. And play with it for a couple months and see what adjustments you need to make it really comfortable for you, so that you're not stressed out worried about it. And cooking with the kids is a great way to help them develop skills in the kitchen. And children who help with cooking are more likely and willing to try new foods. And I know we've talked about this in some other classes that I've had too. Kiddos, they'll eat a carrot stick, but won't eat a cooked carrot. Those kinds of things. So eat raw broccoli, but not cooked broccoli. Broccoli with cheese sauce on it sometimes will change their ideas to maybe try it. So again, use that Eat, Move, Save website to see what other options you have out there, what different recipes you can try. Get the kiddos to look at it with you, and maybe like this suggested, that they'll give you some ideas, and kids are like, maybe I'll try that. Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe it's just a little bit of the seasoning that's on it. Maybe they're not, comfortable, or they don't care for the seasoning that's on it. So you can always back that off or change your seasonings as well. Okay. All right. As for the goals. So the goals they have set for us is that I will track my food expenses for 2 weeks to learn how much food I'm actually spending on food. So how much money am I actually spending on food for the family? Not the restaurants, not the vending machines. That's a separate thing. Not that it's not part of the food, but it will really rock your budget if you're not careful. So it's not something you want to do every day, and there's nothing wrong with it. And in your household budget, I think we talked about, some family or some fun money or, eating out money, whatever you want to call it. I know kiddos hopefully are going to get back into the ball fields and the sports and stuff. So, treat yourself to a night out after a ball game, which is not a bad idea, but it's not something like, we've talked about that your budget can handle every day or, 3 or 4 times a week. So it's something to kind of think about. And if I'm spending more money on food than my estimated food budget, I will work with my family members to find ways to spend less. And I will try the recipe and find ways to have my children help me with preparing it. Okay? And others, or what your personal goal is. So here's my challenge to you. I would really like you to pick 1 or 2 of the bulleted things as the take-home tips, and then at least one of the goals, and circle it and work on that and see what changes it makes. And let's talk about it again next week, or shoot me a text or shoot me an email and let me know how it's working for you. Or like I said, if you've got questions or concerns or anything that'll help you, we can help work through that. Okay. All right. Last, we talked about throughout this activity, information that we talked about is how we need to correct our spending and how we need to keep it, under wraps. So once I think you take a few minutes and put it down black on white on a piece of paper, and you can actually see it, that, I'm currently spending $600, and I estimated that I spent, that my budget was going to be $500. Well, now I'm $100 over. Now what am I going to do? Well, as I'm looking at my receipts and what I've written down, I've noticed that, wow, I spent, $8 or $9, and I went out to lunch 3 days this week. And, that's $24 to $36 a week. And there's my $100. Or, I ran to the gas station because I was working late or running late. I didn't get a chance to, grab something to eat. So I ran to the gas station when I pumped gas, and I got myself, a bag of chips and a power drink or a soda, maybe a candy bar. Okay, so I spent, $5. You do that, once or twice a week, and it adds up fairly quickly. So those are all kinds of things that you kind of want to keep your hold on. And eating out only once or twice a week. Bring your lunch from home. Again, if you got leftovers in the fridge, there's nothing wrong with making a leftover as part of your lunch for the next day. And buy the fewer snacks and soda, which we already talked about. And then challenge, if your kids are older and stuff, challenge your kids or hubby to, your older people in your family to figure out a way to save money. So say you're that $100 off, then challenge those ones around you. Say, okay, I need you to figure out a way to save $10 or $20. And if you do that to 5 people, those are $100. So get everybody involved, get everybody going. Then most importantly, you have to decide what is important for you, whether it's to go out and eat, with your friends or your colleagues, or those extra quick trips through the store, to the gas station, to the convenience, to the drive-through. Or is it more importantly to stay within my budget? And if you choose whichever one you choose, then you have to make sure you choose the way to correct it. Whether you correct the budget to find the extra that you need, or you're right on target, you're right on your budget aspects there. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Okay. I think it'll really help if you get the family involved, keep the family going, keep them involved in whatever you're doing, let them help make choices. It doesn't matter what age bracket, get them in and get them working on my plates. Know that they've got to have fruits and vegetables, and it's half of their plate. I tell all the younger kids, we want a colorful plate. We want lots of color. So get those fruits and veggies and grains and proteins and that dairy on there, and make sure we have plenty of color and plenty of colors of the rainbow, as we always talk about. So get those things to go on and help make the difference in your budget by doing so. Okay. Let the kids help you wash your fruits and vegetables, or if the kids maybe pick something out when they're at the store as far as fruits and vegetables that they might want, or something they may want to try. And if you got little bitty ones, then show them the colors of them. I do a colors of the rainbow with my kiddos in some of the younger classes, and let them see what the colors of the rainbow and how pretty of a rainbow we can do with a variety of fruits and vegetables. There's all kinds of fruits and vegetables out there, and vegetables come in many colors. So like I tell my kids in my classes, you have apples that are, red and green and yellow apples, and you've got red and green and orange and, kind of a purple peppers, and you've got, onions that are different colors and all those kinds of things. So, get the kiddos involved and show them what the colors are, show them how exciting, choosing things can be. Okay. Hey guys, thanks a lot for sharing. Thanks a lot for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And our lesson for next time will be, we're going to plan a meal. So we're going to plan our meals, make our meals a little easier, and how we're going to plan a meal. Hopefully work on planning things ahead of time so that we can make things easier. Not so stressful for us working families that come home and still need to prepare a meal and get kiddos fed, or even just ourselves fed, and the daily routine done before we move on. So have a great evening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye.